there are a lot of detractors out there that are adamantly against proof of work. And one of the arguments that keeps continually being harped upon is that it's wildly an inefficient use of electricity. And that's always been a discussion. The computational electricity that it requires for these ASICs, or these computers that exclusively mine crypto. ASICs is short for application-specific integrated circuits. And you use these to use an algorithm like Script or SHA-256 to mine Bitcoin. Usually a coin will have one algorithm, except for like Digibyte or some other ones that use many, many different algorithms. But what's interesting is that to those people that say it's wildly inefficient, I would say that there actually was a study that was published yesterday that said that 74% of Bitcoin mining is actually using renewable energy. And why that's important is because these devices, these ASICs, I guess are, in many instances, are running off of solar power. There are people that are hobbyists that will go on Amazon or different places and actually rent or buy these solar panels, and they'll put on their house, they'll put on whatever, and they'll track how much electricity that is being used for that by their house, by the solar panels. And yeah, they have batteries that you can push the excess electricity to, or you can sell the excess to, I guess, the power company, depending on how your power company policies are and how friendly or amenable they are to that. But a lot of people are just saying, wow, like I have this extra power, let me hook up ASICs, the Bitminer rigs that I bought a few years ago, and let's get some hashing going. And that's increasingly being happening, especially since Bitcoin's been bouncing towards 10,000. They have memes of people that jump on a treadmill, a stationary bike, and it's hooked up to one of these ASICs, and it's like, lose weight while you mine crypto. So they're very noisy, first of all, and then very intensive on the electricity that they require. So very few, in North America at least, and many parts of Europe, first world countries, are able to mine profitably off of even rigs that were, or ASICs that were purchased like a few years ago. You really have to be on the cutting edge because the difficulty rises so quickly as these go on the market. One of the biggest leaders in the space is Bitmain, and they make the vast majority, I would say, of ASICs that are out there. And there are crypto coins that say, like, we're ASIC resistant, we're going to use Kryptonite R, or all these different variations that are difficult to attack with the ASIC. But Bitmain, they've got it. Like, there are ways to attack those too. I've seen so many different algorithms that Bitmain has ASICs for. Script and SHA-256 are just the beginning. So just be prepared that no matter what coin you have, ASIC's going to be attacking it and driving the difficulty up. And next year, I was reading that a lot of times if the coin is super profitable or Bitcoin's way up, then Bitmain will just stop selling most of their inventory and they'll just mine themselves. So that's kind of like Hertz will rent out their rental cars to Uber drivers and say, instead of waiting for someone to come and rent the darn thing, here, just take it for a month and then, you can pay us from what you get paid. And so it's kind of the same principle applies, right? But they're pushing out 200,000 units in their next build out, and they're going to use some super low cost hydroelectric power, which is of course renewable based on the water that's being pushed through there. And with that, they're going to hope that Bitcoin continues to go up so they can make use of those block rewards. And I guess they're, many tens of thousands of dollars at this point, so if you do find one. There are some people that'll still solo mine with a very low-level rig. And can you imagine, wake up one morning and you find that, all these thousands and thousands of people are mining for this one block every 10 minutes or however many minutes, and it goes to you. So that would be a good way to start the week or the weekend whenever it happens. But it's a probability thing, right? So every time you do mine, you're buying through your hashing power a lottery ticket. And there's some where you're buying $1 worth of hashing power and the lottery ticket could pay off $2, or you're paying into a large pool, and then your lottery ticket, your dollar could get you $1.10. And there's all sorts of ways that people go about mining. And I would tell people that proof of work, in many cases, works, unless it's a super low coin. And I guess coins that are under the top 50 in market cap, they're very vulnerable to be attacked by 51% attacks, where people go on mining rig rentals or NiceHash and push through a bunch of crypto to take control of these rigs. And then, like they did to Ethereum Classic, they'll take over the hashing pool and then they'll start reversing transactions and splitting transactions, so they're essentially minting themselves new coins. So, the proof of work provides the stability to the honesty of the blockchain ledger that brings surety and confidence to people that interact with the cryptocurrency, are that, when they get a transaction, that it's legitimately being sent from this wallet and that they're getting it, and then if they want to sell it, they can do that. And it's so prohibitively expensive that you could get all the rigs that are on NiceHash and mining rig rentals, and you still wouldn't get a fraction of what would be necessary in order to take down Bitcoin. And so it's proof of work is not without its difficulties, but it's certainly, I think, one of the best ways to provide rewards to people that direct their computing resources, and offering them through this proof of concept, mining system, to say, thank you for keeping the blockchain secure. Here's some crypto for your troubles. And I still think that in the long run, it's still got legs, and maybe we won't see it so often because proof of stake is getting traction, especially with Ethereum and their ProgPow switchover and all these other coins that, especially Masternode coins, that like to incentivize people getting into the platform early. And people are intrigued by, 1,000% a year for my crypto, but the law of supply and demand are such that if people aren't buying the crypto and it's being dumped on these exchanges, then 1,000%, it's not going to be, of nothing. So, even my own experience, that, you get into a Masternode and you have a bunch of it, but it's not worth anything anymore, even though it looked very good at the beginning. But so proof of work has worked for several years. It's how it got started, with Satoshi Nakamoto saying, let's go this route through his white paper, and it's stood the test of time with that coin. And the only other thing with that proof of work concept is you have to watch out for 51 attacks that can be done within pools. So some developer on the back end could use the pool's resources to do 51% attack if he was able to, use super control over the actual pool and do some nefarious activities on his own. So decentralization on all levels, keeping the pools relatively small and things, spread apart, is the best way to keep a coin stable and where it needs to be.